الله أكبر حي على الصلاة الله أكبر
Islam. First I rise. I give all praise to the great God of the universe. I give honors to our Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I give honors to the forerunner, Marcus Garvey, paved the way for the Prophet. I give honors to all faithful members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, past, present, and future. I give honors to each and every one of you, because a man honors man and woman he honors Almighty God Allah. Islam. As the brother said, I'm Shem. I live in Durham. I'm originally from New York. And before I begin, I want to take a time to give a special honor to my Sheikh brother, Grand Governor, Haru Rani CL. Love you more.
Love you back, Mo.
His wife, his lovely wife, Sheikh T. Rani CL. And I got to speak words about this brother here because he invited me here. And why it's so special is because I come from a temple of a different body, but he doesn't look at that division, right? One thing he knows about me is that I love our God, I love our Prophet, and I love our people. And that's why I come here, because what I'm doing here is not just about me and where I'm at in my little corner of the world. It's about helping all of our people here. Me and his brother, we come from another demonstration. I had the privilege of watching this brother as a master teacher then. And when he came into this movement, I've watched his growth. And I'll give you honors, Mo. Love you, Mo. So with that, just give some insight on me about insurance. So my background in insurance, I've been in insurance since 2017. I'm licensed to sell life, health, property, and casualty. I started off selling for Aflac. I transitioned into State Farm, working for State Farm. And then from there, I became an independent broker. So that's where I'm at now. And what I'm going to present to you is something that I've been working on for the past year or so, about a year and a half. And this is really something that I thought with the mind of the movement. You know, the Prophet teaches us so many different things about us becoming a pure, clean and pure nation, right? So I'll be reading from some of this presentation here. My apologies, I don't have a slide projector, but for those who wish to actually see this presentation, if you get my email, if I haven't given you my card already, I can give you my card, and I'll be happy to send you this presentation. So with that, I'm going to begin. So the title of this is To Uplift a Nation, Insurance Prepared for the Moorish Divine National Movement. And I just want to make it clear that what I'm saying here is applicable not only to the Moorish Science Temple, but it's other Asiatic groups as well, right? It's really about empowering our people, okay? So the best quote that reflects our approach is the following: have lofty conceptions of your duties to your country and fellow man in general, and especially those with whom you deal. And that's from Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So what is our duty? The duty is this: as Moorish American Muslims, our duty is to assist and aid each other in times of need, as well as diligently defend our religious freedoms and defend divine rights as a clean and pure nation. I want to give honors to Detective King. I enjoyed your demonstration. I love how you went into the Constitution. We talk about the First Amendment, and also within that First Amendment is the freedom of religion, right? So this is kind of my focus here, because though we speak about freedom of religion, many of us don't really realize how deep it goes, how much power there is in religious freedom. Prophet Noble Drew Ali said the door to religious freedom swings wide open. And if you realize how he founded this movement, right, with our authority as a religious corporation, then you realize you got some power in your hand. So with that, I'm going to get into the point about insurance. What is insurance? In layman terms, insurance is a means of protection from loss due to any unfortunate event or events. While the type of event may vary, the loss is usually financial in nature. So what that means, you have car insurance, okay? So the loss could be you get in an accident, you damage the car, or you get a bodily injury. That's loss. But with that, there's a cost. Cost to fix the car, cost to get you to the hospital, all these things, even with life insurance. An insurance agent will sit down, a good one will sit down with a customer and say, look, brother, sir, we have this, we want to do a financial analysis on you. So in case you pass away, we want to know the exact cost that would be impacted on your family if you were to pass away. They do a financial analysis. So everything with insurance is based around that financial cost. So that being said, we're gonna go into this. Why is insurance important? I'm going to quote Prophet Noble Drew Ali. He said, it takes finance to uplift the nation. A financial loss can affect the morale and spiritual state of the victims. Okay? He also said that the problems of life are largely social and economic. In a profound sense, they are moral and spiritual. So basically, where we're at in this situation is where our people are constantly taking losses. And I want to put this in a kind of a term where people can understand it. All right. As the brother mentioned, in our communities, we don't have a lot of resources that other communities have. Okay. Not only that, we don't have a lot of education on these things. Not many people know that insurance, like life insurance, can generate generational wealth. Okay. So much so that if we really truly practice it, we can change the conditions of our neighborhoods, of our communities, right? And for some people, I'll give this example. Everybody know Master P, right? Everybody heard Master P, right? Body. So, how did Master P become at his height a $500 million? Where did he get his start? A lot of people don't know he received an insurance policy from his grandfather, $10,000. From that, he started a record shop, and from there, he built No Limit Records. Okay? Now, he had to grind and be a business savvy to take that $10,000 into $500,000, but it was the start that he needed. Sometimes all we need is a chance. And that's how important life insurance is. We have to be able to leave something for our children. It's about the babies. That's right. Right? We don't want to sing that Temptation song. Papa was a Rolling Stone. Wherever he left his hat was his home. And when he died, all he left us was alone. We don't want that. We want to leave something for our future generations. So, how's insurance created? I'll be quick with this. It's based upon risk. So the level of risk determines the amount of insurance needed as well as the cost. So companies use something called the law of big numbers. What that basically is, layman's terms, everybody here pulls into a pool of money, right? The chances of everybody suffering the same risk is at the same time is not high, right? So it's based on that law of numbers. So what are the needs of the Moors specifically, and Asiatics, all of our people in general? Okay, first I'm going to speak on the Moors. Within the Moorish Divine National Movement, we have many needs that are unique to us alone. For one, we are the only society whose nationality is incorporated within our religious laws, Act 6. This means that we must use all lawful means to protect our religious freedoms, right? We're the only ones who can say that we don't subscribe to names that delude to slavery, and it's part of our divine constitution and bylaws. We're the only people who can say that. So that means wherever you go, if they try to impose that on you, they're violating your religious freedom. Okay? What are the needs of us as a collective, as an Asiatic race? We are people, like the brother said, who we are interfacing with components of society like the police, like the courts, right? Where we have been victimized or suffering this oppression systematically from the drugs, being focused in our neighborhoods and things of that nature, and on top of that, being robbed of knowledge of self. Like the brother said, when he got in, he started studying, and then things started opening, right? So education is key with this. So I'm gonna go specifically into this first insurance, and then I'm gonna get into the rest. So for the Moors, Moorish Science Temple of America, I came across this. This is called Religious Freedom Insurance. Religious Freedom Insurance is an insurance that can protect members of the temple while exercising their religious freedoms from discrimination claims, right? Like Detective King said, as long as you're within your capacity of doing your duty, right, you're free and clear, right? Well, this is kind of the same way religious freedom insurance works. So it works as such. This would be for all officers. According to Act 1 of additional laws, and missionaries, according to authority, they would be insured for their temple duties, right? So, and also members who would perform duties on behalf. So if any of the officers are absent and they have to delegate to another member who may not be an officer at that time, as long as they performing that duty, they are also protected. Benefits are up to $1 million. You can be protected in the way legal fees are reimbursed, and the monthly cost is a flat rate. So this is an example of how this would work. Let's say we're having a public event like this is right here, okay? And let's say I say something that offends a group of people, right? And because it's a public meeting, right, they feel that I violated something and injured them, and then they want to take a lawsuit. Or let's say, for an example, someone wants to come to the temple, but they come on the wrong time. It's a closed meeting, right? And you have to respectfully say, no brother, no sister, you can't come here at this time, you know, because of our religious procedure, we're doing this, and they get offended. I just saw a video on YouTube where that happened in Chicago. The brother had the phone. It's like, look, they kicked me out, right? Now, what if he gets the idea, oh, I'm gonna file a lawsuit, put a lien on them or something like that, right? So how are we protected? This is where this would kick in, okay? So what are the results of this? And me and Grand Governor, we spoke about this. Okay, one, it gives members incentives to increase their aid to the temples financially. This doesn't replace the Moorish Uplifting Fund. It doesn't replace your dues, emergency fund, but it's a practical addition to that, okay? We encourage regular members to become dedicated missionaries within the movement. It raises the overall morale, right? We talked about the fact that a lot of our people, you know, may want to really go into this, but it said, well, what do I get out of it, right? Chairman, yesterday you asked people to raise their hand and see if they could aid us in our mission, right? What if more of those hands that raised up the first time would have moved in because they saw some type of benefit? Oh, automatically I get protected. Fraternal societies do it.
That's right.
They do it all the time, just for paying dues. You getting a minimum life insurance policy, some health benefits, all of that. The temple can do it.
That's right.
We just got to do it. So with that, I'm going to move into key man insurance or key person insurance. Okay, that is a life insurance which can insure an officer within the temple. Okay, it would be for the purpose of maintaining the temple functions in the event that said officer is deceased, okay? And with this policy, the officer would be the insured and the beneficiary would be the temple. Now let me say this, this is not exclusive, key person insurance is not exclusive to this. All societies can do this, churches, mosques, etc., okay? I'm gonna give a personal, real quick story what happened with my temple. As you know, one of our elders passed away, okay? Situation with him is that he had insurance, but it lapsed. I didn't know until I was in a meeting with his sister, and they said this. So you know what you got to do, right? No insurance. What you do when you don't have insurance? GoFundMe. How come we all know that?
Right.
See what I'm saying? Exactly. So that's a stressful situation to have to go through, knowing that if we could have just kept that going, we wouldn't have had to go through that stress. Okay? Prophet says a beggar nation cannot attain the highest heights of spirituality. GoFundMe is just a sophisticated form of begging.
That's right.
So, other types of insurance. Of course, we have general life insurance, which can be group or individual. So we can actually provide group insurance for the temple, right? Health insurance, same way, group or individual. Disability, which is like health insurance, but it's insurance that kicks in case you're injured and you can't work due to an injury or sickness. And of course, property insurance. If you have a building, you're going to want to be insured. Now, you may not need to be insured, but you're going to want to be insured. Okay? I heard the detective say that certain things, like you said, the license, you didn't need a I can speak for the state of North Carolina. I know for a fact you don't need insurance to drive a car. A lot of officers don't know that, but it's a bond. I think it's $35,000. If you can put, it's called self-insuring, right? So if you self-insured your car and they get you for no insurance, they're violating. You see what I'm saying? That's what it comes with knowing the law. So, again, as I mentioned, just to wrap things up, what I did was I decided to create a network called the Moorish American Insurance Network. At this time, it is myself and there's two other sisters who are insured, licensed brokers, and this is an opportunity, and I want to put this out there. Anyone who is licensed in insurance or is looking to, we need to talk, brother. We need to talk. And anyone who's interested, please reach out to me, because I don't want to be the person to do all this work, right? My eventual goal for the Moors in particular is for us to have our own benefit society. If you know what a benefit society is, if you don't know, let me explain it to you. A benefit society is a society that is formed, as it says, for a benefit, to provide insurance and other benefits within. So it's in-house. But this is the start right now. So, yeah, I just want to say that in conclusion, we owe it to our future generations, our babies, that we can continue the mission of uplifting fallen humanity without fear of any losses that may come from our religious rights, our religious freedoms. So we have to ensure the well-being of them and the children be protected to the highest extent. So that was pretty much it in a nutshell. And I do yield the floor for any questions. Anyone have any questions about what I said? Yes.
How would a will associate with getting life insurance?
That's an excellent question. Excellent question. So the insurance establishes a life insurance creates an automatic estate. Okay? Now, with that estate, that's an asset. Okay? That estate can be placed in a trust and can be listed in a will. Okay? Now, here's where it gets tricky. Let's say you have your children, right? And you write your insurance, okay? And something happens where you want them to be listed as a beneficiary, but for some unknown reason, it doesn't really go that way. You can write your will, your living will, to put it in like, this is how I want the proceeds to go. You catch what I'm saying? So you controlling everything. One of the biggest things that we see, like especially with our artists like Prince, who else didn't have a will? A bunch of them. James Brown, Red Fox, all of them. And you know what happens? Their intellectual property goes in the hands of the corporations
Because it's not in trust.
because it's not in the trust. It's not. There's no will written. You know what I'm saying? So to your point, brother, yes, a will is very important to have in conjunction with your insurance. Absolutely. Islam. Yes.
I got this question to me this week. A lady wanted to know, was it illegal for anybody to take out insurance on you, even if they aren't related to you, not married to you? Is that still legal for another person to take out insurance on you?
There has to be, it's something called insurable interest. So what insurable interest is let's say, all right, something happened, I gotta live in your home, right? And I'm just a freeloader. You have to pay for my bills, you taking care of me, right? That's an insurable interest at that point in time. You catch what I'm saying? So that means that at the time that the policy is written, if anyone is dependent on you, right, they have a right to become a beneficiary in that situation. But the trick comes in is that, let's say you're married, right? And at the time of the marriage, you have that insurance, and then y'all split. Is there an insurable interest then? Okay, let's say there's no alimony, no nothing like that. You see what I'm saying? So that's where that's where the legality of that comes in. I hope that answered your question. Yes, sir. Absolutely. All right. Any other questions? Well, I thank you all for taking.
I do have one last
Yes.
question. If we have a family member that has passed away and we don't know if they left the will behind, do you search that or did they reach out to you if there's a will told you?
Find their attorney. Find their attorney. The attorney always has a copy of the will.
Find which attorney?
The attorney who wrote it up. The attorney writes the will, and then you have to get it notarized. It's not stamped until it's not even official unless it's notarized.
So I'm saying, for example, like if my grandma had a will that I didn't know about, how would I be able to find out if she had one?
Well, that would depend on where she's at. That would definitely depend on where she's at, because you got certain things like probate, things going into probate, and you can search through that, etc. So yeah, you have to do your research. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So again, I thank each and every one of you taking the time out to listen. I appreciate any questions after. You can definitely. I'll give you a card. Absolutely. All right, and I yield the floor. Islam.